For 7 years, the Israelites suffered under the brutal hand of the Midianites, who swept into the land like a plague of locusts, destroying their crops and stealing their livestock. The people were so terrified they fled to mountain caves and strongholds. In the village of Ophrah lived a man named Gideon, a farmer from the tribe of Manasseh. He was secretly threshing wheat in a winepress, a hidden, shameful place to keep the small harvest safe from the invaders. It was here, in his moment of fear and doubt, that the angel of the Lord appeared to him, calling him, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon, utterly bewildered, challenged the angel, asking why God had abandoned Israel. The angel declared, "Go in the strength you have and save Israel from Midian's grasp. I am sending you." Gideon, humbled and doubtful of his own strength, asked for a sign. He prepared a feast of meat and broth, and when he presented it, the angel of the Lord touched the offering with the tip of his staff. Fire immediately flared up from the rock, consuming the meat and bread, and then the angel vanished. Gideon realized he had spoken directly with the Lord and was terrified that he would die. But the Lord reassured him, "Peace. Do not be afraid." That night, Gideon was commanded to tear down the altar of the pagan god Baal that belonged to his own father, Joash, and build an altar to the Lord in its place. He did this under the cover of darkness, and when the villagers discovered the destruction, they demanded Gideon's death. Joash, however, protected his son, challenging the people, "If Baal were truly a god, let him defend his own altar." The Spirit of the Lord soon came upon Gideon, and he mustered an army from 4 tribes. Yet, his doubt persisted. He sought 2 specific signs to confirm his divine mission. He placed a fleece of wool on the threshing floor and prayed, "If there is dew only on the fleece, and all the ground is dry, then I will know that you will save Israel by my hand." The next morning, the fleece was so wet he wrung out a bowl full of water, while the ground around it was dry. Still unsure, Gideon dared to ask for a second, opposite sign, "Let the fleece be dry, and let the ground be covered with dew." That night, the Lord granted this final sign. The next morning, the fleece was perfectly dry, but the ground all around was wet with dew. Gideon's faith was sealed, he was ready to lead. With 32,000 men assembled, the Lord intervened, stating the army was too large. If Israel won with so many, they would claim the glory for themselves. First, Gideon was told to send home everyone who was afraid. 22,000 men immediately left, leaving 10,000. The Lord declared this still too many. He instructed Gideon to lead the remaining men down to the water to drink. Only those who cupped the water with their hands and lapped it up like a dog, remaining alert, would be chosen. All the rest, who knelt down carelessly to drink, were dismissed. Out of 32,000, only 300 men were chosen, a tiny, focused, and alert force against a Midianite horde that numbered in the hundreds of thousands. Before the battle, the Lord commanded Gideon to take his servant, Purah, and sneak down to the edge of the Midianite camp. There, Gideon overheard 2 enemy soldiers talking. One soldier recounted a strange dream, a barley cake tumbling into the camp, striking a tent, and collapsing it. The other soldier interpreted it immediately, saying, "This can be nothing other than the sword of Gideon. God has given the Midianites and the whole camp into his hands." Hearing his own name spoken in fear by the enemy fortified Gideon's spirit. He returned to his 300 men, assigning each of them 3 simple items, a trumpet, a clay jar, and a torch hidden inside the jar. Under the deep cover of the middle watch of the night, Gideon divided his 300 men into 3 companies and encircled the vast Midianite camp. At his signal, they executed the plan perfectly. Every man blew his trumpet, smashed his clay jar, and raised the burning torch, shouting, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." The sudden, blinding light, the terrifying clamor of 300 trumpets, and the war cry echoing from 3 different directions instantly plunged the Midianite camp into chaos. Believing they were surrounded by a massive army, the confused soldiers turned their swords on each other. A great panic seized the horde, and they abandoned their camp and fled desperately into the surrounding darkness. The remaining Midianites, now fragmented and disorganized, were pursued relentlessly across the Jordan River. Despite extreme exhaustion, Gideon and his 300 continued the chase. He captured the two Midianite kings, Zebah and Zalmunna, who were responsible for the terror and bloodshed in Israel. When the kings confessed to having personally killed Gideon's own brothers at Tabor, Gideon executed them, fulfilling a vow of vengeance. With the Midianite threat completely neutralized, the grateful Israelites offered Gideon the chance to rule over them as king. Gideon refused the crown, declaring instead, "The Lord shall rule over you." Though a brief period of peace followed, Gideon used the immense spoils of war to create a golden ephod, which sadly became an object of false worship, demonstrating that even the greatest heroes are flawed. However, the land was secured, and the people enjoyed 40 years of peace under his leadership. If this video sparked something in you, kindly like, subscribe and share. By doing so, you are shedding light on a history long forgotten by many. God bless.